The first time I left the coast of Florida for a flight to the Bahamas, my nerves, on the inside of course only, were a mess. I had flown over lots of big lakes and inhospitable terrain, but there's something about flying not anywhere near land that has a little extra about it. And it's extra because if something goes wrong, then what are you going to do? I had planned, prepared, and worked through just about every contingency, and I'm glad I did. Once we were back inside of land, I was finally able to take in what a thrilling and rewarding experience that flying over big water can offer. Since that flight, I have flown over lots of big bodies of water many times, and I've learned some key lessons that I think every pilot should know. Whether you're planning a trip to the Bahamas or Catalina Island, or just crossing a big lake, these tips will help you stay safe and prepared. When it comes to flying over water, there's no such thing as over-preparation. From survival gear to route planning, double check everything. Flight over water isn't something that you can just wing. The sight of endless water and knowing your outs are limited, it can be intimidating, but that's why preparation, mindset, and planning are the key. Have you flown over some big water? Let me know in the comments what are your best tips or stories. We'd love to hear. If you don't mind, I'd be really grateful for a like and subscribe. I appreciate it. My first time flying to the Bahamas, I was on an IFR flight plan, and if you've flown to the Bahamas, you know it's not going to last for that long. So whether you're flying VFR or IFR, file a flight plan. It's a simple step that ensures someone is looking out for you if things go sideways. If you have the option of flying an airplane with a parachute, absolutely do it. Having that extra layer of safety, I'll take that every time. Last year, we did some flying out in California, and I made sure that we got a Cirrus SR-20. I really wanted that extra safety layer of having that chute because I knew our route from San Diego up to Monterey was going to take us over the Pacific. And then back down south, going to Catalina, we'd be over the water quite a bit. So if I have an option of flying an airplane with a parachute system, I'm definitely going to take it. Landing or ditching on water is all about keeping the airspeed slow without stalling it or spinning it into the water. Aim for that controlled touchdown with the wings level and let the plane accelerate as much as possible before contact. Oh, and if you have a retractable airplane, just because you have the gear down doesn't mean you're going to flip over. Follow the manufacturer guidance on ditching, not what the internet or me says about how to ditch your airplane. Know the water temperature of what you're flying over. If you have to ditch, cold water can be a bigger threat than that landing itself. A little research beforehand can help you plan your survival strategy. Your clothing can save your life. Dress for the conditions that you might encounter after ditching. If the weather and the water will be warm, think things like lightweight clothes. If it's going to be cold, you might even consider a survival suit for extremely cold water. When you're charting your course over water, always plan to stay within gliding distance over land if possible. If that's not an option, identify ships or islands along your route that might be potential emergency stops or areas to get help. Whatever survival gear you might need, keep that on you or attached to you. In a water landing, anything that's not strapped to you might as well be back home because there's a good chance you won't be able to find it. For me, a PLB is a non-negotiable item. Sure, there are fees associated with devices like that, but it makes me feel good to know if I push this SOS button, somebody's going to know and somebody's likely going to come. And while we're talking equipment, life jackets, rafts, signal devices, those are all great ideas too. Fuel management obviously is crucial. Overwater flying often means detours for weather, traffic, or even emergencies. Carry extra fuel to give yourself more options. It is worth that extra weight. Proper landing isn't just about saving fuel, it really is about engine health. But over water, proper landing means you are in control of what your fuel flow is doing, and you know what it's doing. So set and monitor your fuel mixture carefully, and that'll give you one less thing to worry about. Flying into places like the Bahamas or Catalina, it's not about just getting there, it's about timing. Arrival time matters for things like customs, is there enough daylight left, is the airport still operating, and even weather conditions. Plan your departure to arrive at the best possible time. Higher altitude gives you more glide range if something happens to go wrong. And also, it improves your radio range and gives you more time to react in that emergency situation. This isn't the type of flight where it's okay to gamble with your maintenance plan or your airworthiness. Ensure your aircraft is in great working condition before taking on a water crossing. Double check everything: the engine, avionics, fuel, all the systems. Pilots who fly over water regularly are a gold mine of information. Talk to local pilots or flying clubs. They'll have tips, route suggestions, and advice that you won't find on a chart. If you like flying adventures like flying over big water, well, here's a video about an adventure I took with my son flying into the busiest airport in the world in a 172. Safe flying, everybody.